few years ago, I was looking for ways to make money online, and guess what? I stumbled on affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is one of the largest time-tested business that have made businesses millions and ordinary people like me millionaire. My name is Dayo Samuel, 18 years old, online entrepreneur and facilitator at Daba.school. Welcome to my online course. In this 7-figure affiliate marketing course, I'll be showing you proven steps and strategies that I've used to make over 25 million naira from affiliate marketing in the past 2 years. Are you looking for a new skill, or a new hustle, or a side hustle you can combine with your present job, or you don't have a job at all and you need something going? Take this course to learn how to make money from affiliate marketing. When you get this course, you get access to my private mastermind group. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.daba.school or download the Daba app to get this course. Join me, let's make millions together.
Hello everyone, this is not CNN, this is Internet Business Show live on Daba TV. My name is Chris Annie, and today I have here with me the Sagi, the phenomenal Dayo Samuel. Dayo, good to have you.
Thank you for having me, and it's good to be here.
How are you today?
I'm doing very fine.
And that is your daughter, Alora.
She's bubbling.
Okay, guys, so today we're going to have a very interesting topic called podcasting. Of course, I've known Dayo over the years, and of course, it's most times referred to as the king of podcasting right here in Nigeria. Dayo, why were you called the king of podcasting?
Well, the main reason why I'm called the grandfather and the king of podcasting was because I pioneered a new industry.
Okay.
When there was no industry called podcasting in Nigeria, I pioneered that industry and gave it the ambience, the way it looked. I kind of pioneered it long before everybody. I started way back in 2012.
Wow. When
there was even nothing called podcasting within the Nigerian space. And I went public with podcast in 2014, specifically March 2014 was when I went public with podcasting, and I launched my first episode June 2014. That was when I launched my first episode. And with the first episode, I noticed that within 24 hours of publishing my first episode, I had over 200 downloads. Now, this happens to be the day when a lot of people were still mining data. They were still trying to say, okay, I don't want to spend data. And I had over 200 downloads. So I said, okay, it looks like this is the beginning of a new thing here in Nigeria. And I embraced podcasts since then. And over the years, I've been able to help quite a number of personal brands, organizations, companies, even churches start and launch successful podcasts in Nigeria.
Before we go into the audience, I'm sure there's somebody watching on Daba TV and wondering, this guy just started talking about podcasting. Please, what's podcasting? All
right, so to simplify, podcast is basically any audio that you put online or let me say any content you put online in an episodic format. And when I say episodic format, this is what I mean by that. You have episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, episode 4. As long as you can run it as a series, that makes up a podcast. Now, particularly, audio podcast happens to be audios, MP3 files that you put online that have specific RSS feed that somebody can use to access your show. So as you are doing it as an episodic content, you also have an RSS, which anybody who has an app, a software, or a listening device can basically pick your RSS, listen to it from wherever part of the world that they can listen to, and they can access your podcast from any part of the world. Now, if you do that, you already have a podcast. And when I remember back in 2015, I wanted to gauge the acceptance of podcasts in Nigeria, and I went on the street of Lagos State. I went with my BlackBerry phone, and I was interviewing a lot of people on the streets, asking them, have you heard about podcasts before? 80% of the respondents I got then said they have never heard of podcasts before. But when I explained to them that have they ever downloaded a message preached by somebody or a motivational talk spoken by somebody as an audio file, have they ever downloaded it off the internet? They said yes. Have you gone back to the same place to download more? They said yes. I said that is a podcast. So in simple terms, it's something that happens in an episodic format such that you have, this is episode 1, the next week I come back, I get it. As long as it's happening on a regular basis, that makes it a podcast. And by the way, over time, it evolved to the point that a podcast can run for a space of time and then stop and then resume, such that you can run a podcast for a space of, like, say, 6 weeks or 12 weeks, and then you call that maybe season 1, and then you stop, you go refuel, you come back and run for another set of season.
Interesting. For business owners, internet entrepreneurs, leaders, what's the benefit of podcasting?
Over the years, one of the things that I've taught people about podcasts is, for you, if you are the person who is shy and you cannot show your face on camera. In fact, that was a joke that we were cracking here in the studio some minutes ago. Before now, I can't sit in front of a camera like this to talk. Main reason is because by personality, I'm shy and introverted. So I don't like to show my face in public. I don't even like to show my face in front of people. I'm a background kind of person. But I have content. I have stuff I want to share with people. So I began to find out, is there a way I can still share content with people in a way that makes it without showing my face? I found that audio was a way that makes that work. Now, over the years, I began to find out, is there a way that business people can use podcasts? Yes, there are a lot of ways businesses can use podcasts. Number one advantage is that podcast provides a way for you to actually speak to an audience without necessarily showing your face, which means that you can actually do a podcast without having to wear a shirt, without having to wear a trouser. If you are like Jeff Walker, who I once listened to, he was on his pajamas when he was actually recording.
Are you sure you're not in your boxers when you're recording your own?
At one point, I was on my bed. And that's one lesson. That's the flexibility. One benefit. Now, if you are going to do video, you need to actually wear clothes and all that. Now, when it comes to business, one of the benefits of podcast to a business is that I have found from studying human behavior and human psychology, I've found that when you write something, the people who are going to receive it are receiving it based on their own interpretation of what is happening to them at that point in time. But when you speak it, they are receiving it exactly as you intend it to be received. So, for example, I kept quiet just now because I want you to pay attention to that pause. But if you are writing, there's no way you can communicate that pause.
Oh!
So with audio makes it interesting for you to actually create a listening experience for people.
And
so
they
people
also
can
know my
listen
intention.
to you to understand your intention. For example, if you write something as a written message, maybe you write something on your Facebook page, we can interpret it different ways based on how we are feeling at that time.
True.
But when I'm hearing you say it, I know that this person is not angry with me, even though you've written it in caps. I know that this person is not angry with me. That's the second benefit. The third benefit I found is that with a podcast, it's easier for you to penetrate places where videos cannot get to. So you're in traffic, you might not be able to watch a video, but you can listen to radio. What if you replace that radio with a podcast episode? And what if you are now the person who creates the podcast episode so that other people can listen to you? That's another benefit. The third benefit that I found, which is more important, is that unlike video where you will have to go to different platforms and upload your videos, with a podcast, as long as you set it up properly and you have an RSS feed, you only need to upload your podcast to one place. It serves multiple platforms at once. So for example, when I started, I will upload my podcast and then it feeds iTunes, feeds Spotify, feeds Spreaker, feeds 8 different platforms all at once. But all you have just done a single work by creating that episode and uploading it, and then it goes to multiple places at the same time. Now, what's the benefit of that? It means that if you are creating it as a business, your business can be in multiple places at the same time without you doing any extra work. So for example, let's say we pick this episode of this internet business show and convert it to an audio. We are so sure that it's going to go beyond YouTube. We are so sure that people are going to listen to it on iTunes, people are going to listen to it on Spotify, people are going to listen to it on Google Play, people are going to listen to it on Spreaker, people are going to listen to it as long as they have Castbox, every single place where audio can be found. So if you use certain phones, for example, that gives you the leverage of being inside people's devices without you necessarily needing to upload or send them a file.
Interesting.
That's the other benefit. But another benefit, again, when it comes to business is that, in my own experience, podcasting gives you the exposure that you may not otherwise get by writing messages, by written content. How do I mean by that? In 2014, when I started my first episode, I wanted to connect with a lot of coaches and consultants in Nigeria. And before I launched my podcast, it was a difficult thing to do. The moment I launched my podcast, and because I did my podcast professionally, it happened that a lot of coaches and consultants who have been admiring, they reached out to me that, can you come and help me set up my own podcast? So I got the network that I was looking for before I was able to launch a podcast. And by the way, even my mentor today, it was podcast that made him to eventually say, I'm looking for somebody to set up a podcast for me. And then they said, there's only this guy that can do it for you in Nigeria. Come and meet him. And one of the top consultants in Nigeria, that was what made me to meet him. They called me and said that so person wants to start a podcast. He's been doing this for the telecoms, but he wants to now convert it into a podcast. And we know that you are the only person that can do it for you. And I came in. And by the way, one thing that I've also understood about podcasts is that a podcast gives your brand a higher advantage. When I say a higher advantage, everybody can write. Not everybody can do video, but everybody can listen to something. If you decide to have a podcast, what that means is that you have simply upped the game. And by the way, you don't have to create new content. The content you've written before, you can simply turn them into podcast episodes.
So let's go for a short break and we'll be back.
Skip this ad just as you skip buying Bitcoin at $4,000 and Ethereum at $100 in 2020. And now Bitcoin and Ethereum have reached a new all-time high in price. Don't you want to learn how to make money by trading and investing in cryptocurrencies in 2021 and beyond? In 2020, during the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, I wrote an article advising people and pushing them to buy Bitcoin, stablecoin, and other cryptocurrency. I'm sure those who took my advice are richer now. 2021 is another year that opens opportunities for you to make money from the crypto market. There are two sets of people watching this video right now. The first one are those who are going to ignore this offer, make mistakes, make excuse, and move on. The second one are those who are going to take this offer, join my students who are making millions from the cryptocurrency market. My name is Chris Ani, Africa's #1 crypto influencer, teacher, and founder, Daba.school. Welcome to my online course. In this Trade and Make Money course, you will learn how to buy, how to sell, coins to profit from, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, how to spot a coin that will make you money, how to also avoid losses in the cryptocurrency market, and a lot more. Not just that, when you get this course, you will also be added to my private premium signal room where you will see the coins to buy and the coins to profit from. So what are you waiting for? Click the link below to get this course, or go to www.daba.school and get the Trade and Make Money course. You can also download the Daba app and get the course on your Daba app. What are you waiting for? I'll see you there.
So welcome back. Dayo, you've talked about the podcasting, how we can start, how you even got started, the profit, the benefits of your podcasting thing. So tell us, what can I do with podcasting?
There are quite a couple of things you can do with a podcast. One of the first things you can do with a podcast is you can run your own show. If you don't want to run your own show, you can actually run shows for other people. So we call such people, we call them showrunners.
Okay.
Now, in order to answer what can you do with a podcast, I might need to share the ecosystem of podcasts.
Okay.
Now, one thing about podcasts is that while a lot of people scramble for holding the mic is not the only way to make money from podcasts. In fact, that's the least way to make money from a podcast. And when I say the least way, I'm not playing down on the fact that podcasters like Joe Rogan, whose podcast was actually bought off of YouTube for over $100 million.
Wow.
A single podcast show was bought by Spotify for over $100 million.
Wow.
I'm not beating down on that, but creating the content is not the only way you make money from podcasting. Now, from the podcast ecosystem, there's a part of the content provider, there's a producer, and there's a content platform. So there's content producer, there's content provider, and there's a content platform. Now, the interesting thing is that you make more money from, if you can't actually, so for example, when I got started with podcasts, I was shy. My words are not this coherent as they are today. In fact, those days, somebody used to call me Baba Ijebu, that I speak English like Baba Ijebu. Because those days, the way I used to speak English was very coarse and very rough. And by the way, that's a joke that a lot of people know today. In fact, one day I had to tell people that I was once called Baba Ijebu. Now, if you want to make money from podcasts and you don't like how you talk, you can actually offer podcasts as a service to companies and to individuals. How do I mean? There are people who want to do podcasts who don't have the time to edit their podcast. There are people who want to do podcasts who don't have time to upload their podcast and manage the entire back end of podcasting. There are those who don't even have time to promote their podcasts. So you can actually make money from all those ways.
Services.
There is the graphic design of the aspect of podcasts. There's the part of turning a podcast show into a video. So you can also make money from that way. So when we look at the entire ecosystem of podcasts, there are a lot of services that are in between recording an episode and getting the episode down to the end consumer. So there are a lot of ways you can actually come in. There are a lot of ways you can make money.
The next question I wanted to ask is actually on podcast monetization, and you already answered already. In the podcast industry in Nigeria, what do you think are the challenges and what has made people not to actually? I've not seen us blow the whole podcasting in Nigeria so much. So what do you think is being wrong, or what do you think is wrong, and what do you think can be corrected to explode the podcast industry in Nigeria?
Now, for the podcast industry in Nigeria, having been the forerunner of the entire podcasting industry, and when I say I'm the forerunner, I mean I happen to be the first person to do a professional podcast in entire Nigeria. And while I'm proud of it, it happens to be something that I was not proud of at the point. The main reason why I was not proud of it was because every other person wanted to do podcast was just wanting to do it out of hobby. They were not going to approach it as a professional. So the first thing, if you are going to enhance the podcast industry, is maybe we need to step away from trying to do it as this is just a side gig and begin to see it as a professional work. So for the 4 years that I ran podcasting actively, I did a podcast as a professional. I had to learn how to speak. I had to improve how I talk. I had to improve, because there's what's called communication in audio. Communication in audio is how are you able to communicate in such a way that people are still able to get what you're saying without you. Like right now, I'm showing my face. You can see how I'm gesticulating. You can see how I'm expressing. How do you make that happen through audio? If you are the person who's running interviews, how can you structure interviews in such a way that it becomes very engaging, very relevant, very meaningful for people to listen to?
Relatable.
Now, when it now comes to the big industry, I think part of the challenges we've had in the past has been that of data, that is internet. The second challenge that I think we have had in the past has been that of electricity. And the third will be that of people understanding what podcast actually means. Now, it means that we will still have a lot of education to do, but that education, as at 2021 that I'm speaking to you right now while we are doing this recording, that education is not that big as much as that professionalism that we need to bring in. This is what I mean. We ran a survey in 2019. No, that should be 2018. We ran a survey in 2018, and we discovered that 45% of podcast listeners reside in Lagos. We discovered that 50-something% of the listeners are actually between 18 and I think 28 or 25, 29, less than 35 years old. That was the bulk of the people who listen to podcasts. And we also found that about 50% of the podcasts that have been listened to, they have been listened to because they want to learn something new. They have been listened to because the podcast is entertaining. And this is not global survey. This is survey for Nigerians.
Nigeria.
We ran it basically online to different places. And that opened our eyes up to see that the podcast industry is still growing. And by the way, it still continue to grow for the next 5 years. Now, I love what someone said, that every industry has a market cap.
Yeah.
Podcast is yet to even get to that all-time high. It has not reached all-time high yet.
That has
for
brought
it
crypto.
to, for it to get to its market cap.
So when are we buying podcasting so that we'll know
we
when
need
to dump it or
So
when
we
to
need to
pump?
get in. We really need to get in early enough. And by the way, what I always recommend to people who do videos is there's what we call video podcast. Now, video podcast is we're doing podcast as video. So there's the audio alternative and there's a video alternative.
Interesting.
I'm looking to that time when a lot of people are going to start publishing their videos as audios. Not a way for them to say, okay, I've finished recording audio, let me now start recording another audio. Rather, they can simply take that video that they've recorded
and
convert it to audio. Main reason why they're converting it to audio is so as to access people who may not have time to watch video. People who may not even have the data to watch video, and the people who may not even have the bandwidth and the time and the space to consume video. So the podcast industry is still growing. I believe that by 2050, which is a long time away from now, the podcast is going to reach its market cap.
That's a huge prediction, man. 25 years.
It's going to get to its market cap by that time.
That's
but before then, everybody is still welcome to.
So today I want to urge everyone, internet entrepreneur, business leaders, go start a podcast so that your voice can be heard. Because we are in that economy that requires attention. And if you want to gain attention, podcasting is one of the tools you need to use. Remember, this is not CNN. This is Daba TV. And it's been an awesome session with Dayo Samuel. Dayo, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And please remember to like, share. Let me know what you think. And if you've started a podcast, I want to listen to it. So in the comment section, put the name of your podcast and give us the link. And if you know you're going to start one, of course, let us know. Remember to use the subscribe button and share this episode and this edition with your friends and family. Till I come your way next time, success is yours, and go make that wealth on the internet. God bless you.
A few years ago, I was looking for ways to make money online. And guess what? I stumbled on affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is one of the largest time-tested business that have made businesses millions and ordinary people like me millionaire. My name is Dayo Samuel, 18 years old, online entrepreneur and facilitator at Daba.school. Welcome to my online course. In this 7-figure affiliate marketing course, I'll be showing you proven steps and strategies that I've used to make over 25 million naira from affiliate marketing in the past 2 years. Are you looking for a new skill, or a new hustle, or a side hustle you can combine with your present job, or you don't have a job at all and you need something going? Take this course to learn how to make money from affiliate marketing. When you get this course, you get access to my private mastermind group. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.daba.school or download the Daba app to get this course. Join me, let's make millions together.